Today we will perform the calibration of the 8700A. In order to perform the calibration, first set the machine to standby mode. This is the standby mode. After setting the machine to standby mode, please press the configuration key. This is the configuration key. After pressing the configuration key, please go to the service mode. In the service mode, the password is 2010. Press the enter key. This is the enter key. Now, in order to perform the calibration, press the calibration button. Now, we will perform the first calibration, that is the flow sensor calibration. In order to perform the flow sensor calibration, the first step is to seal the bag arm port, the inspiration and expiration ports. This is the bag arm. Use this to seal the port. This is the inspiration port. This is the expiration port. Connect a tube to the inspiration port. Connect a tube to the expiration port. This is the Y piece. Connect the Y piece to the T point. Now, set the flow meter, set the APL valve to 70 cm of H2O. This is the APL valve. The next step is to set the flow meter until the airway pressure up to 30 cm of H2O. This is the airway gauge. By rotating the flow meter, we can achieve this pressure, which is 30. As you can see, I am rotating the flow meter while watching the airway gauge. As you can see, the airway gauge has reached 30. Now I will set the flow meter to 150 milliliter per minute. This is the flow meter. This is 0.10. This means 100 milliliter. This is 15, but this corresponds to 150 milliliter. After setting this, I will press the start button to perform the calibration. There are two kinds of calibration that need to be performed. One is the inspiration sensor calibration and one is the expiration sensor calibration. The first step is to perform the inspiration sensor calibration. Please press the inspiration sensor calibration key. Please read the instructions. The first step is to remove the inspiration and expiration valve discs and reinstall the valve covers. This is the expiration valve. This is the inspiration valve. Remove the covers first. After removing the covers, please remove the disc. This is the disc and this is the disc holder. After removing it, please reinstall this cover. Do the same for the inspiration valve. You do not need to remove the O2 sensor. Now the next step is to put the supply through the throttle valve and connect to the gas driver port under the bellows base. The next step is to put the supply through the throttle valve, connect to the gas driver port under the bellows base. This is the supply. This is the throttle valve. This will be connected to the supplies. This is the port under the bellows. From here, connect this, disconnect this. Now connect this with one of the tubes from the throttle valve. The connection is complete. The next step is to remove the bellows. In order to remove the bellows, first remove the bellows cover. This is the bellows cover. This is the bellows. After removing the bellows cover, place back the bellows cover. The next step is to seal the expiration port. This is the expiration port. Now we seal using this, the expiration port. Now we will connect the flow meter to the expiration port. Now we will connect the flow meter to the inspiration port. After connecting the flow meter, now we will set the electronic flow meters to 0. Please set all the electronic flow meters to 0. The next step is to press the start key. The first calibration is the calibration of the 0. Before pressing the 0 key on the screen, please look at the flow meter. Right now the flow meter is displaying 0.57. Please rotate the throttle to decrease the flow until 0 is reached. As you can see on the flow meter, the 0 has been reached. Wait for a few moments and then press the 0 on the screen. When you press the 0 on the screen, a calibration will be performed. If the calibration is successful, a green sign will be displayed. Now we will perform the calibration for 3. Before pressing the key on the screen, please look at the flow meter. Right now the flow meter is displaying 0. We will rotate the throttle to increase the flow until we can see 3. As you can see, the flow meter has arrived at 3. Please wait for a few moments and then press the key on the screen. After pressing the key, a calibration successful sound will be displayed. Please remember, you have to perform the calibration in order 0, 3, 12 and 30. You cannot perform 12 before 3 or in this order, and you have to perform all 4 calibrations. The next step is to perform the calibration for 12. These units are in liter per minute. This is also in liter per minute. The display of the flow meter is also in liter per minute. Before performing the calibration for 12, please look at the flow meter. It's displaying 3. Now rotate the throttle, increasing the flow. As you can see, it has arrived at 12. Now press the 12 key displayed on the screen. As you can see, the calibration is successful. Now the same process will be applied for 30. Please look at the flow meter. Now rotate the throttle. After reaching 30, as you can see, it is displayed on the flow meter. Now press the 30 key on the screen. As you can see, the calibration is successful. Now please press the start key. As you can see, it is displayed inspiration sensor calibrate and calibration successful. Now please press the return key. Now we will perform the expiration sensor calibration. In order to perform the expiration sensor calibration, the first step is to select the expiration sensor calibrate key on the screen. Please read the instructions. The first instruction is to remove the inspiration and expiration valve discs. As shown, we have already removed them. The next step is to put the supply through the throttle valve, the flow monitor, and connect to the expiration port. This is the supply. This is the throttle valve. This connection will be made to the flow meter. Use a tube, connect it to the connector. Now we will connect a tube from one end of the flow meter, like this, to the expiration port. This is the expiration port. After performing this action, the next step is to seal the inspiration port. Use this. After sealing the inspiration port, please use a tube longer than 1 meter and connect it to the port under the bellows, this port. After performing this, please set the flow meter to 0. Also this flow meter and this flow meter. After performing all the instructions displayed on the screen, please press the start key. Before pressing the 0, 3, 12 or 30 button on the screen, please look at the flow meter. As you can see, the flow meter displays 0. The first step of the calibration is that before you touch this button on the screen, you have to make the flow meter go to 0. As the flow meter is 0, and also now you can press this key. After the calibration is complete, the calibration successful sign will be displayed. The calibrations must be performed in order 0, 3, 12 and 30. All the units are in liter per minute. The units displayed on the flow meter are also in liter per minute. Now we will perform the calibration for 3 liter per minute. Please rotate the throttle. Rotate the throttle until the value 3 is reached on the flow meter. After the value has been reached, please press the 3 key on the screen. After the calibration is successful, the calibration successful sign will be displayed on the screen. The next is to perform the calibration for 12 liter per minute. Please look at the flow meter. Now rotate the throttle. After the value 12 has been reached on the flow meter, please press the key on the displayed on the screen. After the calibration is successful, the calibration successful sign will be displayed. Now we will perform the calibration for 30 liter per minute. Please look at we will perform the calibration for 30 liter per minute. Before pressing the 30 key on the screen, please look at the flow meter. As you can see, the flow meter is displaying 23.1. Now please increase by rotating the throttle. After it has reached 30, please press the button on the screen. As you can see, the calibration is successful. Now please press the start key to finish the calibration process. Please look at the screen. It displays the calibration successful. It means that the expression sensor calibration has been successfully performed. Now we will perform the calibration of the flow valve. In order to perform the calibration of the flow valve, please press the flow valve button. Now please read the instructions. The first step is to set the flow meter to 0 liter per minute. There are 3 flow meters: O2 flow meter, air flow meter and N2O flow meter. We have to set them to 0. As you can see, now all the flow meters are set to 0. The next step is to disconnect the hoses from the inspiration and expiration ports. This is the expiration port. You can use this blocker to block the expiration port. After this step is complete, now we will remove the bellows. To remove the bellows, the first step is to remove the bellows cover. After removing the bellows, please place back the bellows cover. The next step is to remove the inspiration and expiration valve discs. This is the expiration valve. This is the inspiration valve. Rotate the valve. This is the valve disc. You can also remove this. After removing, place back the cover. The same procedure will be performed for the inspiration valve. After removing the disc, please place back. If the product you have purchased has an oxygen sensor, you do not need to remove it during this calibration. After you have completed these steps, please press the start button. Note that the flow valve calibration approximately takes 2 minutes. After this instruction, please press the start button again. Please do not disturb the product during the calibration process. After the calibration is complete, the screen will display calibration successful. It will display the open voltage value and the maximum flow value. After the calibration is complete, please press the return button. Before performing the other calibrations, please install the inspiration valve discs and the bellows. We will perform the pressure sensor calibration. In order to perform the pressure sensor calibration, please press the pressure sensor button. Now please read the instructions on the screen. This calibration is to determine the zero of the pressure sensor. The first step is to disconnect any hoses from the inspiration and expiration ports. This is the inspiration port. This is the expiration port. Set the flow meters to 0 liter per minute. This is the O2 flow meter. This is the air flow meter. This is the N2O flow meter. Please rotate them to set the value equal to 0. After all the values have been set to 0, please read the next instruction. The next instruction is set the APL valve to 0. This is the APL valve. The APL valve has different selections: 30, 50, 70. We have to set it to 0. As you can see on the APL valve, the 0 is not displayed, but this point is equal to 0. After you set it into this position, there will be a click sound. After you have performed these 3 steps, please press the start button. The calibration will be performed. After the calibration successful symbol is displayed on the screen, please press the return button. We will perform the PEEP valve calibration. In order to perform the PEEP valve calibration, please press the PEEP valve button displayed in the calibration menu. Now please read the instructions. The first instruction is to set the fresh gas flow to 1 liter per minute. After setting the fresh gas flow to 1 liter per minute, the next step is to connect the breathing circuit and connect a 1 liter bag to the Y-piece. This is a Y-piece. This is a 1 liter bag. This together is called the breathing circuit. Please connect the bag properly. The next step is to push the O2 flush to fill the bellows. This is the O2 flush. By pressing the O2 flush, the bellows will be filled. After the bellows have been filled, please press the start button and the calibration will be started. After the calibration is successful, the calibration successful sign will be displayed on the screen. After this, please press the return key to go back to the calibration menu.